drive to Tallahassee or wherever it is, from wherever it is, and you're going to spend the night, you're going to testify, they're going to ignore you, just like they ignore you everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's because Florida has how many people?
22 million.
It's the third most populous state in the nation. When I was growing up in the 1950s, it was like 14, 15, 18, something like that.
Yeah, sure. And, the population in New Hampshire shrinks in the wintertime, which is when people vote. Mm-hmm. So there's actually a smaller amount of voters in New Hampshire than the 1.4 million I just mentioned as far as population goes. I think it's fair to say that Florida is about 20 times as populous as New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah. All the more reason for anybody who believes in liberty and wants to join the movement to come on up to the Free State.
Yep. The reason I wanted Alaska was because Alaska's separate from the U.S. There are some more mild climates down in that little tail end that hangs down. So, I had, like everybody, had my opinions on it, but ultimately the people moved where they're going to move, and, I hope the best for the project.
No, I was actively planning for Alaska. If Alaska got picked, I'd be down in Juneau or Ketchikan.
Right, way down there.
It's not too cold, and it doesn't snow, too terribly much, and it only rains 350 inches a year.
God, that's a lot of rain.
Hey, we're running our miles all the time, Mark, and it's almost as if Angie's been shut out. Come on. Angie, what do you think about the whole thing?
Well, Angie, when did you hear about the Free State Project?
In 2010.
So the state had already been picked. How'd you find out?
It was on a race car. We saw the
headline. Race car?
Yep.
Well, was it like a local race car or like a big national race car?
I am unsure. Michael said,
just a race car.
How could a Free State Project sticker get on a race car? I mean, that's a great idea. I'm thankful for it, but how did that get there?
We are great guerrilla marketers. There's no doubt about that. And so you found out about it from a race car, and then what?
We Googled it, took a look at it, watched some videos, and decided to make the move.
Wang, bang. So it was you and your husband, and did you have kids?
We had 2 kids, a 7-month-old and a 5-year-old, 5 or 6.
Well, I like it when the families move.
Well, hold on a second. You looked at a couple of videos, Angie, and you and your husband talked about it a little bit and said, okay, we're going to move. This is a process that took place over, 3, 4, 5 years?
No, it was probably about 7 months.
7 months?
That's fast.
Whose idea was it to move?
When he showed me the video the first night, I said, hey, we should move. He said, okay, let's do it.
Boy, that's North Carolina's loss and certainly New Hampshire's gain.
You had a business to sell, too.
We did. We had a computer store there that we sold.
Wow. That's impressive to be able to pull that off. Speaking of moving, I've got a story here from the Los Angeles Times, and it turns out, as amazing as this may seem to you, Tim, people still keep moving to California. It doesn't matter. The high taxes don't matter. They're continuing to go there.
You can't fool me, Mark. I know that story. Guess what kind of people are still moving into California?
The gimme nanny staters.
And there's another cohort.
I don't know.
People that are multimillionaires. If you've got the money, if you got the money, then come on in, honey.
Right. Well, somebody asked me why millionaires would want to move to California. Well, why do millionaires want to buy yachts? It's not that none of these things are financially a good idea. It's if you have sufficient money, well, of course you're going to do these things. If you really want to live in San Francisco, then and you have the money, you might as well. There's no particular reason not to.
Well, let's just find out from Angie. The only really normal person here. Angie, have you and Mike ever thought about living in California or San Francisco?
No, I've visited once. I went to San Diego, and then we ended up in 29 Palms.
29 Palms, I remember it well. And I was there for a half year.
It was not somewhere that I would move.
Yeah, everybody needs to know that I'm just getting to know Angie, and lo and behold, her husband, Mike, is a former, not an ex, a former Marine, just like me. And we were both stationed at 29 Palms. I got a lot to talk to your husband about, Angie.
Oh, he'll enjoy that.
There's no, I guess there is no ex-Marine. Is that the idea?
No,
yeah, once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Well, back in the day when I was in the Corps in the late 60s and early 70s, you always said, I'm a former Marine. If you weren't active duty, then you were a former Marine. But now it's changed to once a Marine, always a Marine. I don't know, I don't know if I can get with that. I'm kind of doofus.
Now, you had used the term gyrene to describe a Marine. What does that mean to those of us who... The only time I've ever heard the term was in the movie Avatar.
The Marines have all kinds of nicknames, Leatherneck, Devil Dog, they're historically based. And one of the funny ones is, oh, you're a gyrene, are you? A gyrene? And whenever I meet anybody and they say they're in the Marine, they were in the Marines or a Marine veteran, I say, so you're a Gyrene, huh? And I said that to Angie a few minutes ago, and she said, yeah, as a matter of fact, she knew exactly what it meant.
But what does it mean?
What does it mean,
just humorous?
Angie?
I'm not sure exactly what it means.
Well, it's Marine, Gyrene, it's just a humorous play on words.
Okay. So I thought maybe it was Jarhead and Marine stuck together. I don't really know what it is.
No, they're Jarheads too, though.
Yeah, I've certainly heard that terminology. I imagine that refers to the flat top. Like flat on the top, like a jar. I don't know.
That's probably accurate.
I don't know where Jarhead came from. I thought Jarhead meant that you were kind of stupid and didn't have any brains. But
I've heard people accuse Marines of being willing to salute a lamppost. But I do like the notion that that a Marine is a rifleman first, right? Like you use your your sidearm to fight your way to your rifle. It's clearly a better weapon. Handguns are fine for civilian use and all that stuff, but a handgun in the hands of a soldier should only be in the hands of an officer. That way he can shoot the people who are closest to him for not working hard enough.
As a former Marine, I think I can speak for all former Marines. Every American should have a battle rifle in their own home and have plenty of ammo for it so that if things go sideways, we'll be rough and ready. What do you think, Angie?
I completely agree.
Well,
I think I'm in love.
I think, right. No, who wouldn't be? We'll get into this story here about California and the people moving there in just a few seconds here. The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com. And it's a place you can send any business. And they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It is the live Wednesday night edition of Free Talk Live, and it's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Tim.
That's right. We got a whole new crew for you tonight here on Free Talk Live. Tim's passing through, and Angie, this is you're trying out your first night here on Free Talk Live, seeing how's it going. You've been here in New Hampshire for many years, though.
Since 2011.
Yep. So no reason not to. It's pretty clear you're going to stick around. No reason not to try out Free Talk Live, see how it goes for you. Your family runs a computer store here, right?
We do.
Yeah, so there you go. Let me tell you about Bitcoin.com. That's computer related, right? It's your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. Bitcoin.com can help you choose a Bitcoin wallet. You can go get some free Bitcoin there to put in the wallet. You can buy Bitcoin if you want some more. They can show you where to spend Bitcoin, places like save at purse.com. You can also read the latest news or engage with the community at the Bitcoin forum there at Bitcoin.com. You can learn more by going to Bitcoin.com. All that news is very useful there at Bitcoin.com. I find it to be a great resource. Bitcoin.com. So apparently people are moving to California. The rich people keep moving to California. So we're told, like lots of people left New York. And the idea was, rich people will leave if you keep taxing them higher and higher, but it doesn't seem to be the case in California. And it's probably worth looking into this and seeing, well, what does it take to get people to leave?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the confiscatory tax rates of California or of New York, you're talking about people that have plenty of money. Like the old saying, if you got a 100-foot yacht, if you have to ask how much it costs, you can't afford it. Right.
And now New York is the 50th freest state. California is usually 49th, but it may be 48th. The thing is there's no contest as to which is the least free state. Yeah. New York is by far runaway the winner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that New York sucks or anything like that, anything bad about them. But if you live in New York City, you pay a borough income tax, you pay a city income tax, you pay a county income tax, you pay a state income tax. I mean, it's insane, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't. People want to live in New York City enough that they'll keep on paying these things. Apparently
so. Well, there's good reason that a lot of people have to live in New York City, but as far as
less and less of it, though. I mean, as time goes by, more people can work remotely.
Yes.
There's certainly jobs where you got to be in New York City, but as time goes by, Rush Limbaugh found that he didn't have to be in New York anymore and just decided, I'll build a studio from my house in my mansion in Palm Beach and everything will be fine.
That's right. He picked up everything. He owned a lot of property up there, or at least a multi-million-dollar apartment or condominium, and he said, I've had enough of this. I don't need to be here, and off he went.
Yep.
This whole trend of people being able to work out of their homes, Mark, is really, really dangerous for the parasite classes. the political parasite classes, because if you can work anywhere, then there's no reason in the world for you not to move to New Hampshire. But if you do move to New Hampshire, please don't bring your voting patterns, your California or New York voting patterns with you. You know how dangerous that is.
Right. Well, we already saw what the result is. Why continue doing it? The greatest threat to the state is the massholes beneath us.
Really.
Some of them don't like living in Massachusetts. They move up and continue voting the way that they did.
Yeah,
in a lot of cases, that's good because, one should have a different place to go to. But in other people who have really crappy voting habits, not so good.
Well, you're taking a good example is what California has done to Colorado, Nevada, and Arizona. That's happening right now. They're all getting out of California because it's such a third world. Can I say that word? No, I can't say that word on air.
You cannot say S-hole.
It's such a third world mess.
Yes.
And then they keep on voting for Democrats. I don't want this to be a Democrat versus Republican thing because many Republicans are just as bad as Democrats.
Indeed.
We're being sold down the river by both sides.
Let's see what the LA Times has to say about all this.
Yeah.
Are the rich people fleeing California to escape astronomical state income taxes? That's the word. But it's fake news. In fact, more wealthy people are moving to California than leaving, research indicates. It's the poor and middle class who are departing. And it makes sense. If you're getting rich in California and can afford to live comfortably here in this balmy climate, there's little incentive to leave except to stick it to the tax collector in Sacramento. If you've got your business here and you're making money, it's hard to leave, says Alan Zarenberg, president of the California Chamber of Commerce. And if you're making money in California, you're still going to get taxed here, even if you live in Texas. It's true. If you've got the business there, that's where the taxes, they hit you.
Yep.
If you've got a business elsewhere and live in California, they hit you there too.
Yeah, and if you have a business in California and you move out of California or they do the same thing in New York, they chase you down wherever you go to try and squeeze you some more.
Yep.
Get out of here.
President of the Foundation for Commerce and Education, a chamber affiliate, cautions you can't shelter your income simply by moving out of the state. If your business or work are in California, that's where you're taxed. California very aggressively collects taxes.
There you go.
But he adds, if you're retiring or living off of instruments, that's different. You can move to Nevada where there's no state income tax and live off the California public pension without paying either Sacramento or Carson City.
Sounds good to me.
Right. So you can work for your life with California, make your money from the state or county or wherever. And then when your pension comes through, you move to Nevada and you don't have to pay the tax on the pension.
Absolutely. Except isn't California saying if it's a California pension, you're going to get taxed on it regardless?
Well, that has rejected competitive offers from the Dodgers and San Francisco Giants and signed a 13-year contract with the Philadelphia Phillies in low-tax Pennsylvania. Avoiding California's highest in the nation, 13.3% income tax, was just one of the several reasons Harper signed with the Phillies. He also liked their hitter-friendly ballpark and he felt comfortable playing in the National League East, where he spent his entire major league career.
Does it say how much money he saved in taxes in that article?
Well, it's a $330 million contract, and I don't know what the tax rate is in Pennsylvania, but the tax rate in California is like 13%. So if you just say it's 10%, he saved $33 million.
I read in another article about this same phenomenon where they said he'd save over the course of that entire contract $50 million.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it.
That's a real saving.
Yeah, and if you think about the property taxes, you can live more cheaply in many cases.
Yeah.
But many of the rich people want to be close to other rich people. You know, what's the use of being rich if you can't show it off to other rich people, right?
Yeah, and as long as you have a big wall around your estate, I mean, there's no problem, no matter how much of a third world mess you're in.
In many cases, they just live in little cloistered groups, and people stay out of their areas. But whatever it is, the number 855-450-3733. What do you think rich people want to stay in California for? 855-450, free as in freedom.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The Deep State Began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Wednesday edition. You can call in. Talk about whatever's on your mind here on Free Talk Live. Phone lines are open. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free as in freedom. Got an article here from the LA Times talking about people, rich people, moving to California. Because you always hear about people leaving California. And there's no doubt that tax burdens and regulations and these sorts of things drive people out of given jurisdictions. But it appears as though rich folks, they want to live around rich folks.
Telling you, Mark, it's a classical man bites dog story. I mean, come on, everybody's leaving California, and for good reason.
Oh, man bites dog story, that comes out of Florida. Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation website. Do you want to hear the newest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty? freedomsphoenix.com, they've got it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, the rise of the police state. It's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. You go over there to freedomsphoenix.com, sign up for their email, their daily dispatch, and like I have, I love getting this thing. This is where I get my show prep. freedomsphoenix.com. So back to this story from the LA Times. They were talking about this baseball player. I'm sorry, I don't know baseball players' names. His name's Harper, and he decided not to take Bryce Harper a job with some of the California teams. He would rather play for Philadelphia, and he saved some money doing it. But going on with the story, California's income tax has become even more burdensome for the wealthy and many middle-class residents because of new so-called reforms. President Trump and the previous Republican Congress stripped this is written by the LA Times, ability to deduct all state income and local property taxes on federal returns. There's now a $10,000 limit. So, yeah, I mean, states have enjoyed this write-off. Well, anything you pay in to state income tax, you don't have to pay into federal income tax.
That is so sweet, Mark. That is so sweet that they made that change, because they were forcing everybody in the whole country to subsidize their extraordinarily high tax rates.
Sure. I mean, that's basically what was going on. California was just taking more and more. What you were doing was asking states, would you like to send your tax dollars out of the state, or would you like to keep them here in your capital?
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, what are they going to pick? I mean,
hello.
Angie, do you want your husband to give you the money, or do you want him to give it to my wife?
I would love if he gave it to me.
Right,
that would be great.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, nobody's gonna pick sending it elsewhere. So Harper's this is the baseball player's avoidance of the state seemed symbolic of California's tax flight tale that has circulated for years, but apparently it's mostly made up. Well, it's mostly made up for rich people. Sure, there are anecdotes galore, and everyone seems to know someone who has fled California to dodge high taxes, but there's no wholesale bolting of the rich. Substantially more rich people are moving into California than moving out, says Cristobal Young, a Cornell University sociology professor. He teamed up with others at Stanford and at Stanford University and Center on Poverty and Inequality to write a research paper on the millionaire migration in California. And the fact that you're not losing rich people like you thought you were may be something to celebrate, certainly, but California's population really is moving to places like Texas, Arizona, Nevada, a whole bunch of different places. At some point or another, off they go.
Let me tell you, man, first of all, that's the Los Angeles Times. That's one of the biggest newspapers in America.
Yeah.
And I only got 2 words. I only got 2 words to give to you about what comes out of Los Angeles Times. Angie, back me up on this. Fake news. It's fake news. Come on, I mean, nobody's staying in California unless you're coming in over the border and you're a poor peasant from Mexico.
Well, I think the rich people have no particular reason to leave. They can afford it, and if you different rich people want different things, right?
Sure.
So you think about William Shatner and his ranch out in Montana. You think about Rick Schroeder and his place out in Wyoming, and some people get money. And then they're going to do the thing they want to do.
Yeah.
If the thing you want to do is sashay around and impress other rich people, then California is a great place to do that.
Well, there's much to be said for California independently of that. It really is beautiful out there.
It's gorgeous,
I lived out there.
But it's dry.
I lived out there for a few years when I was a hippie and I had hair and everything. But I mean, it's got a beautiful coastline, and San Francisco is a beautiful city. But the fact of the matter is the liberal politics, Democrat politics, they're just destroying it. Angie, you said you had visited California, right?
I have. I flew into San Diego.
What was your impression?
I love San Diego.
Really?
It was amazing.
How long ago was it?
Oh, it was in 2002.
Were there a whole bunch of people living in tents on the streets? And
I did
That's
not
not
notice
San Diego.
that.
No, San Diego's not going to put up with that crap. That's Portland, Seattle. There's
San Francisco,
probably
certainly.
San Francisco. I haven't been to San Francisco in 2 decades now, but nonetheless.
So, Angie, what you're telling us is you'd like to live in California.
If I had to live there in San Diego, I probably would.
If you had lots and lots of millions of dollars.
I would need lots of money.
I'm sorry. Over to you, Mark.
No problem. Let's go to Danny calling in from New Hampshire. Danny, you're on Free Talk Live. Check.
Howdy.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. So that's actually a shame that you would choose California over New Hampshire. I mean, the weather probably brings in all of the kooks and such.
Well, Angie, what do you think? The weather better in California or New Hampshire?
Oh, the weather in California was nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
When I was there.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to. Don't get us wrong, Dan. Angie didn't say she wanted to move to California.
No, I won't be leaving New Hampshire.
with lots and lots of money. Well, that's my question actually today is about where in New Hampshire. I mean, there's plenty of information comparing New Hampshire to the other states, and it's a really good state for economic and social liberty. But there are plenty of different municipalities with all sorts of different zoning laws and all sorts of different ordinances. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that it's a really great question. And to answer where should you move in the world, you first have to ask yourself, what are you trying to achieve? If freedom's the idea, which freedom do you want? And if you want to work toward, if you want to hang out with a bunch of libertarians and work towards more freedom for everybody, New Hampshire's a really good place to give that a shot. It's great for education for kids, a great place to raise a family. There's a variety of reasons.
Oh yeah, they just passed a bunch of school charter stuff, right?
Yep, and it's getting better
School choice.
as time goes by. But once you decide to move, if you're going to decide to move to New Hampshire to participate in, say, the Great Liberty Migration, where do you go? And I would ask, I mean, are you looking for city or country, or what are you looking for, Danny?
Well, it's a bit of a joke because I think the biggest city in New Hampshire is probably Boston. I mean, there aren't really any big cities in New Hampshire.
Right. There's Manchester, which is nearby, or you can live in near Boston and one of the basically suburbs, outside suburbs of Boston.
Well, Dan, are you a mover? Are you a free stater, a mover to New Hampshire, or are you a native?
Yes, 100%. I am a signer. I signed on. I'm moving from the People's Democratic Republic of Virginia. And I'm just looking around the state right now trying to see which municipalities, how they really compare to each other, really.
Interesting question, because I was involved in the very inception of the Freetown Project back in 2004, 2005.
Well, you can tell us about that Freetown Project here in a moment. Danny, could you hold the line?
Sure.
The number is 855-450-3733. Or you can use our Discord lines, and you'll sound really great. We've actually got somebody in there now. It's you just go to discord.freetalklive.com. There's an app there. You can download it and put it on your smartphone, and you'll sound just a lot better. Discord.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
The zebra of the plains is perpetually hunted by a myriad of merciless predators. With no purpose other than to feed monsters, the zebra spends its entire life standing around awaiting a violent death. They are nature's ultimate prey. The zebra paces the earth, patiently going through the motions of life, knowing that at any moment it will end in a sudden shock of pain and brutality. With its black and white stripes serving as an ostentatious beacon to any nearby predators, the zebra whiles away its time before gruesome elimination. Zebra wait on the pantry shelf that is the African plain before something finds it and, at last, remembers to eat it.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Wednesday edition here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Tim Condon.
You can call in, talk about whatever you want, and that's kind of how we ended up having Danny on the line here. Danny wants to move for the Great Freedom Migration to New Hampshire, and he's kind of wondering, well, you know, it's a big state. Where do I? Well, not a big state by state standards, but it's big when you're trying to pick where to go. Sure. And generally, we don't do, sort of Chamber of Commerce stuff here on Free Talk Live. But I'm happy to answer the question because it's something that obviously everybody who's moved for this, like I have, like everybody in this room has asked themselves. And I think that honestly, my first answer is, go to porcupinerealtor.com and talk to Mark Warden. He'd be a really great person.
Oh, yeah, I just met Mark.
Yep.
He was over at the, the Tap Room Tuesdays over at Murphy's.
Sure. There's your expert. But I will say that different regions have different things about them that are kind of cool. So, like, for instance, Keene and Portsmouth, we've got really great cryptocurrency penetration. If you lots of businesses taking cryptocurrency in both locations. Manchester, much more like there's just a whole bunch of movers there, and you're going to find people who, lots and lots of people who have your thing going on.
Lots and lots of libertarians. A good community.
Yep. People who are in sort of the college thing might be up near Dartmouth, and those that really want to get away from things might move up to Coos County or pick Grafton, as Tim Condon here has done at one point.
Let me ask you, Dan. Are you in state now, traveling around looking for a place to move to?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, have you taken a tour? Have you gone way up north like Berlin and Gorham and Lancaster up there and come over to Keene and looked over along the Connecticut Valley?
Well, I wanted to visit your little Freedom Center there, but I haven't gotten the opportunity to yet. I have been through Keene. I've been through Concord and Manch. I spent a little time in Pittsfield just recently. I've seen Nash.
Wow.
I've gone to Dover. I haven't been to Portsmouth yet.
Pittsfield's way up there, isn't it?
No, Pittsfield's
Oh no,
Manchester.
It's just a little higher than Concord.
Oh, I'm thinking of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is way up, right next to Canada.
It used to be its own country called the Republic of Indian Stream. It's a fascinating story.
Wow.
So. Yeah, what I would recommend is kind of checking with, Mark Warden and that kind of thing, but, finding out what you're looking for.
Where Rogers is?
Rogers Campground?
Yeah.
That's in Lancaster. It's way up north.
Yeah, way up north.
Okay, so I visited Lancaster just for Rogers, but I haven't really seen the rest of it.
Well, Dan, what are you looking for? What kind of a lifestyle are you looking for? Are you a city boy, or would you rather be out in the country?
It's hard to figure. One thing is, I'm not going to be buying any land or making any major decisions until my girlfriend comes by and she gets a good helping and the whole tour to see what the pros and cons are for her as well.
Yeah, I think you should rent. Pretty much, this is good advice for anybody. Rent first and then determine, because when it comes to owning a home, especially right now with the way the real estate market is, you basically have to own for 10 years for it to be financially make sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nice things about having a landlord. When something breaks, you call them.
Well, we've got an expert on that whole question right here. Angie, you moved here. Not only did you move here in 2011 with your husband, but you had 2 children, right?
We did. We had 2 children.
Oh, wow.
So how did you go through this process yourself, you and your husband?
We went on to
How did you decide?
We ended up in Danbury, and we met some people, came up, took a visit. My husband and my son, my 5-year-old, picked out a cabin, lived there for about 3 days, and then I went on Craigslist and found somewhere that was habitable, and we moved to Alstead. And
rented?
Yeah, we rented.
And Danbury that cabin was not habitable.
No, we had no running water the entire time we were there. And
Yikes.
that was a necessity with kids.
Well, it depends on how rough you want to live, Dan.
Danny, I recommend a place with running water.
Yes.
Thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. Let's go to David calling in from England. David, you're on Free Talk Live. David going once. David going twice. We'll put David on hold, see if they'll have the board op check in on him. Let's go to Bad Slave calling in from New Hampshire. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Mark, it's
hey, what's going on?
From you.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who this is, right, Tim?
Oh, Danny boy, the fives are calling. Is that you?
Right,
is that you, Danny?
You got Abel here.
Oh, okay.
Close enough. Close enough.
Abel is close to Dan. Go ahead, man. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, it is. Did you already go to Bob's funeral?
Yes, it wasn't a funeral. It was a memorial.
Memorial.
Yeah, I did go to that.
To check in on that real quick, an important founder of this great freedom migration. His name was Bob Hull. He sponsored Free Talk Live back when we were still in Florida many years ago in order to bring more people to New Hampshire. He has recently passed away from cancer. It's really sad. But these things happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I would recommend see your doctor on a regular basis and go for your checkups.
Yeah, Bob was part of the Freetown Project too, and he was also a member of the state legislature, and just an all-around great guy. And you, Abel, would be able to make a recommendation to Dan, our previous caller, about Grafton, wouldn't you?
I want people to move to Grafton. I'm a little disappointed in kind of some of the politics that have generated there.
Once you get enough libertarians in one place.
Are you talking about the politics generated among the libertarians themselves, or between them and the non-libertarians?
Yeah, there's been so much conflict.
Well, that's a feature, not a bug, Abel. I mean, Mark, Angie, back me up on this. When you get 2 or 3 libertarians in one room, you have 8 different positions.
At least easily, yeah. I wish that, Abel, I really, really wish that this movement of individualists somehow worked better in a group, but they're really bad at it. So more or less, we just need more of them.
Yeah, and I think that if more move up there, particularly the more established ones, because that's what we're getting as far as the movers go. They're people that probably have wanted to move this whole time, but had to prepare themselves. So they're having to take up the time to particularly since 2016 was when we met the threshold. They agreed to 5 years, and people are moving, and I think we get a little more conservative nature of the groups.
Yes.
Because they're families, they're people with businesses. There's all kinds of good going on, and the people that are moving, just a little less flighty, let's say.
Well, isn't that a good thing? I mean, isn't it better for a more conservative type freedom lovers to be moving into the state, Abel?
Oh yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm, if people can come and help us get rid of some of the conflict that's been generated in, I was always attempting to moderate some of that while I was there, and I just haven't been able to spend the time up there that I want to.
Sure.
Bad Slave, I appreciate you chiming in on this one. Thanks for the call.
You're welcome.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. And, when I think about sort of conservatism and libertarianism, I think on the state level, they tend to jibe a little better than others. But one thing I've never understood is early on, the Democrats arrayed themselves against the Free Staters. And, which do you want? The enemy you disagree with 100% of the time, or the enemy you disagree with 66% of the time? And what they said was, we'll take both of you as enemies. And I guess it worked out for them this year, but it generally works out one term out of every 5 for them.
True enough.
Yeah, they're losing. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at mypatriotsupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at mypatriotsupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. mypatriotsupply.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,307. Silver opened at $15.46. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,851. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a recent report from the New York Times shows that the National Security Agency has quietly shut down a controversial phone record surveillance program revealed by whistleblower Edward Snowden in 2013. The claim was made by a senior Republican congressional aide who told the newspaper that the Trump administration had stopped using the program, which analyzes the domestic call and text logs of American citizens due to technical problems. MintPress News reports that Snowden on Twitter hailed the news as a victory, while Intercept journalist Glenn Greenwald, who broke the Snowden story to international acclaim, took the story at face value. Neither of them raised the obvious question. Is the shutdown of the program merely a smokescreen to continue spying on American phones under new or different secretive programs? Further doubt has been cast on the New York Times report, as the NSA refused to confirm or deny the story. But during a recent major security conference, the agency did claim that they are still in a deliberative process about whether to use a revamped version of the vast database of American phone records. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at myBraveBotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Your news now continues. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry has announced the filing of a petition supplement naming persons who may have information related to the use of explosives at the World Trade Center. The Free Thought Project reports that Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth says the 33-page document contains 15 different categories of persons who may have information material to the investigation, including contractors and security companies that had access to the World Trade Center towers before 9/11, persons and entities who benefited financially from the demolitions, and persons arrested after being observed celebrating the World Trade Center attacks. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry successfully submitted a petition to the federal government demanding that the U.S. Attorney present to a special grand jury extensive evidence of yet-to-be-prosecuted federal crimes relating to the destruction of 3 World Trade Center towers on 9/11-2001. After waiting months for the reply, the U.S. Attorney responded in a letter, noting that they will comply with the law. Venezuelan authorities continue working to bring back online the electric grid following a massive outage that began Thursday, March 7th. According to the anti-media, on-ground testimonies and official sources say that power finally began to reach Venezuela's western states on Monday night. Electricity has now been restored, at least in some areas of every state. President Nicolas Maduro gave a televised address Tuesday evening, offering more details about the alleged attack against the country's electrical infrastructure. According to Maduro, both the computerized system in the Curry Dam on Thursday afternoon and the central electrical brain in Caracas on Saturday morning suffered cyber attacks, while recovery was delayed by physical attacks against transmission lines and electrical substations. Maduro claimed that the attacks were directed from Chicago and Houston, and that more evidence will be presented soon. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
On May 22, 1992, beloved talk show host Johnny Carson ended his 30-year run of hosting The Tonight Show with a farewell episode that included special guests Saddam Hussein, KKK Grand Wizard Virgil E. Griffin, and a musical performance by the Flagshifters. On May 24, 1883, the Brooklyn Bridge opened, providing New Yorkers with a more efficient way of killing themselves and escaping their trash-ridden excrement-cake city. The monument's historic opening was marked by hundreds of people jumping 275 feet to their deaths in order to avoid waking up every morning with the smell of horse shit filling their nostrils.
Before the Brooklyn Bridge, there were very few ways for New Yorkers to free themselves from the cesspool in which they lived. One method was to tie cinder blocks on their legs and walk into the Hudson River. But of course, the banks of the Hudson were so brimming with garbage and raw sewage that the putrid stench would drive back even the most desperate suicide seeker.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
That's right, it is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live. That's why we named it that. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Tim.
The number's 855-450-3733. Let's give David in England another try. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello.
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 Hello. What's on your mind, David?
How you doing?
All's well.
Well, okay. I don't know how much time I have, so I'm going to try to be as concise as I can.
Okay.
In 1988, the Republican convention decided that they weren't going to count the votes of the Libertarian Party candidate, even though everybody knew that they didn't have enough votes to make it into a candidate. So, but they just didn't even count them, even though people were saying, "Please, I want to," they were voting for Ron Paul.
Yep, Ron Paul was the Libertarian nominee in 1988.
Yeah, right.
So why would the Republicans count Libertarian votes? I'm confused.
They wouldn't count them.
But the Libertarian Party is a different party than the Republican Party. Why would the Republican Party be counting Libertarian votes?
Listen, if he was on the podium, he was running as a Republican.
Oh, he was? I thought he was the Libertarian nominee.
Sure. No, it's just like Bernie Sanders was a liberal Democrat, but so he was running as a Republican.
Okay.
And when it came time to count the votes, and I'm going to get to the point here, but it came time to count the votes, even though people were voting for Ron Paul, when they took the tally, there was no votes except for the Republican Party. So what I'm trying to tell you, and by the way, I had a friend of mine who comes to our chat room once in a while, who was there at that particular time, and he interviewed the people coming out of the auditorium, and he stopped quite a few supporters of Ron Paul. Now the point was they knew they didn't have enough votes to make Ron Paul the nominee. That was not the point. The point was they wanted their right to vote for him, and they didn't get it, and they were really, really angry.
They did it again, and Ron Paul got sort of swept aside in 2012. In 2008, he got pretty close. He did okay, but by 2012, the Republicans actually had to mount some kind of action against him. So, I guess it doesn't surprise me that a party might attempt to protect its interest, I guess.
Yep.
Well, if I could just proceed.
Sure.
Again, I don't know how much time I have, but in 1988, I believe, the leader of the Women of League of Voters announced that she was not going to participate in this fraud on the American people. And what she was talking about.
This is when the League of Women Voters decided not to do the debates anymore, right? And then it was taken over by this bipartisan fix-it campaign that kept the libertarians out of the debate, right?
Now you're starting to understand where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Recently, we've been told that Fox News is no longer going to be allowed to participate in the debates. I'm no fan of Fox, but I don't think any network should be allowed to decide what the rules of the debate are. All of them should be allowed to participate if they want to watch and they want to make money off it. That's no problem with me. That's fine. The more participation in the distribution of the debate, the better. But they shouldn't decide. One station or one network should not decide on who is going to ask the questions, what the questions are going to be, who's going to be in the audience, and those sort of things. That should be decided on by a real nonpartisan party, which is the League of Women Voters.
I would concur with you completely when it comes to the debate. That should be, that they should allow third parties in, and that needs to be somebody who's nonpartisan. But it looks like here, I just looked up the Wikipedia on the 1988 presidential campaign. It says in January 1987, Ron Paul officially left the Republican Party to run for the Libertarian Party nomination after becoming disillusioned by the spending policies of the Reagan administration and presumptive Republican presidential nominee George H.W. Bush. On leaving the party, Paul remarked, "Ronald Reagan has given us a deficit 10 times greater than what we had with the Democrats. It didn't take more than a month after 1981 to realize that there would be no changes. The Libertarian Party had courted Paul for the previous 6 years."
And your point is?
That he was a libertarian in 1987. So obviously the I just don't understand this thing about the Republican committee not letting Paul's votes be counted. That part I just don't understand.
Well, it's pretty simple.
Thank you.
They took the vote. They took the vote, and when people voted for Ron Paul, they decided not to count those votes.
Okay, so
when the board showed up,
when Republicans chose to vote in the Republican nomination for a libertarian, they just didn't count any of them because the guy was a Libertarian Party member? Is that the idea?
Now you're starting to get the idea.
I'm doing my best here, David. I really appreciate this.
That's what we're talking about. They were suppressed. That vote was suppressed.
Okay.
Even though it wouldn't have mattered a bit. Listen, the Ron Paul supporters, when they came out of the auditorium, pointed out to my friend Gary that they were perfectly prepared to support the nominee. That was not the issue. The issue was they wanted their right to register their vote, and they didn't get it, and the Republicans rubbed it in their faces.
Nobody likes a fixed election.
I'm not going to vote for Hillary.
Is that right?
What's that?
Nobody likes a fixed election. The Bernie people aren't going to like it. The Ron Paul people didn't like it, and you're absolutely right. Thank you for the call, David. Appreciate it. The number's 855-450-3733. Let's go to Matthew calling in from Louisiana. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I'm going to change the second topic. The first topic is for the gentleman Dan, who's moving to New Hampshire.
Danny, yes.
When it's time for you to look for property to buy, try to avoid hysterical districts. They won't let you change a thing.
What's a hysterical district?
Historical. We have these all over.
Historical district.
They get hysterical when you try to change stuff.
Well, they get hysterical over the historical.
Yes. Up here in New England, it's a bunch of, wooden rectangles. God knows we couldn't change all that.
Right, and they won't let you put insulated windows in. Double insulated windows, which is the biggest home improvement you can make. It not only saves you energy, it helps make your house quieter. The guy who called in about Ron Paul getting jobs, and if it was in the Republican primary, just like with the Democrat primary, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party are two private clubs that theoretically shouldn't exist, in my opinion, with government backing, but they do because, well, they control the, government.
Oh, yeah, they have their elections subsidized by you. Basically, the primaries shouldn't be paid for by the taxpayer, but they are.
Right, but they can arrange their affairs as they wish. If the Democrat Party decided to have just a shootout, pistols at 40 paces as a method of selecting their candidate,
I'm for that.
Yeah, that would be illegal. Probably
it would be.
The winner would be hauled off to jail.
It's just that they don't like. Nobody likes like I said to the caller there. Nobody likes a rigged election, and the Bernie people, rightly, are upset with whether or not Hillary fixed the election in 2016. She was prepared to, the stacking of the deck, putting in her, lady there.
Superdelegate.
Yeah, the superdelegates certainly were, part of that. And, the Democratic Party wasn't very democratic in that instance, and it gets people riled up. And the caller's talking about something that happened in 88 and surrounding Ron Paul. I have no knowledge of it, but I don't disagree with him. Thanks for the call.
There were some shenanigans.
Oh, I'm going to let you go, Matthew. Thank you. The number is 855-450-3733.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio is great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You're welcome to call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. We've been kind of talking about where to move in case you want more freedom in your life. Or I guess another topic has been rigged elections here in the U.S. or elections that didn't look so great. Inside the party apparati, I think that there's an argument to be had. I want to tell you real quick about AnyPay. If you operate a retail business and you're looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance, it's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open up an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in their setup page, and then load their app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash and Bitcoin Cash at your store. Get started now. AnyPay.global. It's AnyPay.global. Let's go to Brad calling in from New Hampshire. Brad, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey there. How are y'all doing tonight?
Good.
All's well. What's on your mind?
Well, to go off of what you guys were talking about a minute ago with the League of Women's Voters networks and the whole setup of the debate. And then I think the FSP and what was it, the Free Town Project or something?
The Free State Project and the Free Town Project, yep.
Yeah, so the idea behind those projects is to change the way things work from the inside through demographics, right?
Demographics. I don't think that the Free State Project's idea is to move as many liberty lovers to one state and see what happens. But the more active you are in your community and voting and things like that, probably the more effect you could have. Go ahead.
Right. So why not apply that kind of idea to the networks? The idea of the Free State Project is to, well, at least partially, to gather a bunch of liberty-leaning voters in one place. But apply that to the corporate domain, I guess, and get the idea of how to put it. If a bunch of people who are liberty-minded were all to buy some degree of voting shares in networks that put on debates, then that would give those shareholders some power over what they do with their programs.
I think that might work. I mean, it's again, you're going to have the same problem that many of these organizations have, is trying to get the individualists to operate in a group. But yeah, I mean, sure, if Fox or NBC said, yeah, we're going to hold a debate, but we're going to bring the Libertarian and the Green Party person in, likely there would be a certain amount of shock and upset amongst the Republicans and Democrats. I don't know what they would do about it, because they certainly would want the exposure. So it'd be interesting to see what the conflict created. They may very well just go to CBS and MSNBC and say, hey, they're giving us a bad deal over at that other place, and we don't want that. So
I don't think that's what Matthew's talking about. Are you talking about like buying stock and using the power of your ownership interest in the networks to turn them in a more honest direction?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, that's already being done right now. You can read about it. There are various left-wing organizations that buy up stock in different companies in order to go to the stockholders meetings or board of directors meetings and offer changes in their policies in order to make them more what they call socially aware or social justice. And that's not a terrible idea, except that there's a whole lot more of them than there are of us. Liberty lovers are in kind of a short supply these days, don't you think, Angie?
I do think so.
How about you, Mark?
Well, it depends on how you define them, right? If you ask if somebody is fiscally conservative and socially liberal, you'll get a lot of people saying, yeah, that sounds right.
Sure.
But if you ask somebody if they're a libertarian, they're like, oh, no, I'm not that. It's the same thing, largely, but no.
Most people don't know what libertarian actually means.
Yeah, there's an issue of branding around the word. I've had people think that libertarian meant liberal, and I'm not that.
Yeah, my dad actually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's
he is libertarian, and that gets translated in his mind as liberal because they sound the same, I guess.
Well, when you talk about liberal and conservative, libertarian, or whatever, most people, politics is not a great big part of their life. Those of us who are activists and who interact with each other and get involved in these kind of things, yeah, it's a big part of our life. But most people just want to be left alone. But when you ask somebody, when you tell somebody we're in favor of freedom, we're in favor of liberty, everybody says, oh, yeah, sure, I'm in favor of that, but definitely. But then they turn around and they want all kinds of controls and restrictions on your personal life, and
not on their own, but on you.
Yeah, on everybody.
They want the restrictions that benefit them, and that's one of the problems. Brad, thanks for the call. Appreciate your ideas here on Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. Let's go to Robert calling in from Vermont. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. What's on your mind?
I wanted to ask, I think I asked you this before, Mark, but I wanted to ask, because there's a new group of people in the studio there, what do you think the United States would look like today if Ross Perot had won the election in 1990?
Well, it's I think that was 92.
92, sure.
Or maybe
92, right.
What would
that
it
would
look
have been 92. I don't know that I even know.
We're talking about alternative history here. It's hard, tough call.
Right. I think that it certainly would have been interesting. I support the idea that he would have won, but he kind of left and then came back, and it was. I can see why some voters lost their momentum surrounding him. I don't know. He had this story of ninjas trying to kill him, and things like that. And I don't know. I would say it would be for the better, but who knows how.
Well, keep in mind that was the year that everybody was all the Republicans were looking for somebody else to vote for other than George Herbert Walker Bush, because he violated a solemn promise.
Yep.
Read my lips. No new taxes. And then he got rolled by the Democrats in the status, and the rest, as they say, is history. But Bill Clinton won that election with 43% of the vote,
a minority.
And you didn't hear the Democrats whining and crying. Oh, gee, it's a minority. It's terrible. You didn't get the most votes. You didn't get didn't get a majority. But now that Trump has won, with presumably a minority of the votes, or with less than Hillary got, they're all up in arms about it. What's the difference?
Well, 2 people versus 3 people, I guess. I don't know. Robert, thanks for the call. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. That's 855-450, free as in freedom.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You are welcome to call in and talk about whatever's on your mind here on this live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Hi, Angie.
Hello, Tim.
Yeah, so the number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free as in freedom. I want to tell you about MyPillow. Not my specific pillow, but the brand of pillows called MyPillow. A good night's sleep is important. When it comes down to it, it's not just how much sleep time you spend in bed, it's the quality, not the quantity of the sleep you get. MyPillow is designed to help you get a good night's sleep. So it's filled with this sort of batting that'll hold your head and neck in the right position. If you get headaches, if you've got neck problems, these kind of things, the first place to look should be your pillow. If you've got a down pillow, I used to be a down pillow fan. If you've got a down pillow, get rid of that thing and go to mypillow.com. You can get 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price, and you get free shipping on all the orders if you use our coupon code, which is FTL. They've got a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you've got nothing to lose. You buy the pillow. If you don't like it, within 60 days, you'll be refunded your purchase price. It's mypillow.com. Promo code FTL. Another killer app for this pillow, besides holding your head and neck in the right position, well, you can wash it. Imagine what's crawling around in that pillow. When's the last time you got to wash it? I'm scheduled to wash mine again this weekend. MyPillow.com. I like to do it about monthly, but it's covered in a zipper case and things like that to keep it clean. MyPillow.com, code FTL. Go to the phones. We've got Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, there's a personal reason why I'm so dedicated to handing out these Who's Who's political directories.
What is a Who's Who political directory?
Well, it's a little pamphlet, maybe like 4 inches by like 8.5 inches. And it's put on by the League of Women's Voters, and it has the representatives, Senate, and that goes to the that make the laws for our state. Right.
You can. It's a little piece of paper that tells people what the list of criminals that they'll be voting for is. Right.
I mean, the ones that are elected to office, and then also has the city councilors and the city councilor meetings and the county meetings and all different cities. They have their meetings that has that in it. It's a very valuable information. And the thing is that the reason I'm doing it is that they had it laying around at the library, and I actually walked by it for 10 years looking at it. But on top of it was a dog park. On the bottom was camping site, and onto the left was the hiking trail, and the other one was the museums, and around it was a zoo. So I said, I have no kids, I have no dog, and I don't go camping, and I have no need for this nonsense. I said it was a recreational pamphlet. So, I was looking at it for 10 years, and the whole time I wanted to write letters to my representative on that live in this area. So to me, it's like a defeat. It's like a hiding the political information. What a disguise! You put it next to like museums and all the parties in the cities and the zoos, and nobody sees it.
I'm not sure that I think it's a conspiracy. I think it's largely people just don't care. I mean, when you look at a local election, oftentimes you'll be lucky to get 5% of the voters to turn out to vote, whereas in a presidential election, you'll get 50% of the voters to turn out. So you get 10 times as much interest in a presidential election as you do a local election. Add to that most people, when they vote in a presidential election, they've just decided that this year they're going to vote for whomever, whichever candidate it is, then they go down the list. All right, well, if I'm going to vote for the Democrat this go around, then I'm going to vote for the Democrat and the governor. They vote what they call party line, or the Republican, whichever it might be. If it's a Democratic president, they're likely to vote for a Republican if it's after 8 years. So incumbent president is likely to win. So Trump is likely to win, but on the end of Trump's term, it is likely to be a Democrat come 2024. And then it will ping pong back and forth as time goes by. So in 2024, you'll likely see this big blue wave take over, and the purple states will get Democratic governors and things like that.
Well, I actually asked the League of Women Voter ladies to come and do a table and bring like a who's political guide and teach people what's in it. I asked them they could have if they ask permission from the Unitarian Church, and then what she said was only thing that they're allowed to do is I said she'll give me the copies. I could come and pick them up and I could distribute it, but they're not allowed to do anything. They're not allowed to explain or talk to people. All they could do is just leave a bundle at the senior center and leave a bundle at the library, hoping that nobody would find it. So they're not allowed to do any of these. So they told me for me to come and pick up a bundle, and I could go to the Unitarian Church because I handed out about 30 copies, and I've asked them to do it, but they stopped them from doing it. They used to pass out voters' guides and explain to people, and they put a stop to it. They put a stop to explaining and handing out these who's political guide. And it gives too much. I always say this is a very dangerous material. It gives way too much power to. Well, not even. You think it's silly. People think that most people are not political. They're not involved. But if you have the emails and phone numbers to all of the state reps,
you're more likely to use them.
Well, again, you know what? You take a couple of people and you multiply it by 50,000, 100,000 people that live in New Mexico. It's power. And all of the city meetings, the city council meetings in each city, it's aired. It's the 2 minutes that you speak. It's powerful. And you know what you say is just, per chance they just lay it around the library. It's your fault you don't find it. To me, they're doing this on purpose. They let you print it. They let you have it out, but nobody knows. They put it in an odd place where they have recreation, hiking trail, and bicycle path. And
it could be the case, Sarah. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for the call, Sarah. Is it a conspiracy that they're hiding all this information from you about your local officials, or is it in fact just that most people don't care? It's up to you. Yeah.
Well, let's ask the person that probably knows the answer to it, Angie.
I would say they just don't care.
Most of them don't care.
I agree with Angie. I'd say they just don't care. But there's another big problem here. You just said something, Mark. Angie, let's gang up on Mark. Can we gang up on Mark?
Go right ahead.
Mark just said Trump is likely to win in 2020 and next year, likely to win the election. Do you think that's the case, Angie?
I think he will probably win, unfortunately.
Really? But the Democrats have 20 or 25 people running.
Well, that's part of the problem. So there'll be this scrum over, who's winning and who can be, by the way, the most leftist. Right now, the leftists have their moment in the sun. Mm-hmm. And the Democrat Party is not a leftist party by any stretch, but they, on the other hand, they have a lot of the leftists have a lot of sway.
Boy.
So I would say that you're going to have somebody come up after this, after they've gotten beaten up by their cohort. Then they've got to rise up and handle Trump, who's, there's been a tax rebate. There's been some success in peace in North Korea. Not that I'm proud of him walking out of that meeting with Kim Jong-un, but there'll be things that people can point to, and usually a sitting president wins.
Yes, but who do we like?
Who do I like?
Who do we like on the Democratic side, Biden or Bernie? Isn't it going to be Biden or Bernie? Aren't those the two leading two people?
I don't know. There's Elizabeth Warren who's going in, Cory Booker. There's a whole variety of them.
Kamala Harris, Tulsi Gabbard.
Right. There's a whole bunch of them, and I don't know.
Okay. Well, will we vote for Trump over the Democrat? Or
I must see who's available to me. I voted for the Libertarian the last go round, but if Trump pardons Ross Ulbricht, I'll vote for him.
All right.
855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life, too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Tim Condon is sitting in with us here and just traveling to New Hampshire.
Oh, here I am. You
got yourself a little treat. Wait until the break to nosh on that if you would.
Can't you eat while you're talking?
No, sorry, it doesn't work that way.
I'm new to talk radio.
Thank you for visiting us in the studio, though, Tim. I love having you in here when you come. So we had this article from the Los Angeles Times. We had a bunch of calls, and you're certainly welcome to call in. I'm always happy to have you here on Free Talk Live. But we had this article before all the calls about the Los Angeles Times dispelling the notion that rich people are leaving California because of the taxes. And I think they've made a pretty good case that in many cases, rich people weren't when they were paying California income tax of 13%, that they weren't really paying a California income tax of 13% because you could write off the income tax with the federal government, and now you can't do that as much because you can write off, I think, up to $10,000. But rich people, $10,000 is a large portion of the average person's income.
Oh, yeah.
But for a rich person, it's not much.
Peanuts. Pocket change, Mark. Pocket change.
Right. So it could be that they're correct that rich people weren't leaving California. But now with Trump's changes in the income tax, meaning that now if a state income tax is a state income tax and the federal income tax is the federal income tax, and in between them, it really matters. So if you're in California, you could be paying more as a result. That's certainly possible. Even though Trump gave a tax cut, it's not going to be enough for people who live in, say, California. Now, if you live in a state like New Hampshire or Nevada or Florida, which don't have an income tax, it's probably a nice little bonus for you.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, and Young, this guy, I'm going on with the article here, Christobal Young from Cornell University sociology professor, says the rich people want to be where the action is. There's more opportunity in California, where there are a lot of ways to make money, and more than other places. A lot of that is tech. It's a diverse economy, and California has an economy that's larger than France's. It's an incredible place. I mean, if we were making California a state today, we likely would make it 5 or 6 different states because it's just so big. People who want to make money tend to live where high-income people are. It's one thing to say I'm going to leave California to save money on taxes, but that means leaving clients, collaborators, investors, and friends. It's not that rich people are moving to Reno and Nevada, Reno being in Nevada. Young adds they're moving to San Francisco and making living costs miserable for a lot of people because if you want to live in San Francisco, you're going to pay. And if you want to have a lot of square footage, you're really going to pay. California has a net out migration of low-income folks who can't afford to live in their state and are being pushed out by high-income homeowners. And there's a whole other story of middle-class people struggling to pay their bills and the housing shortage hitting them hard. So I think it's a story of class when it comes to who's living where and these sorts of things. And California is going to have an interesting story when they've driven out certain folks. I'm curious to see how things continue on. Let's go to Larry calling in from Indiana, listening here on the listen line. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live.
Well, I think what you're talking about now, the government does facilitate the transfer of property maybe every 70 or 80 years, they take a place that is run down, and they will actually give tax incentives and raise taxes that's so unbearable that we can't, that the average person can't pay it. And rich people, of course, move in and claim the land. So that's been going on forever. But what I call about today is that the State House, our General Assembly is in purpose now. It's functioning, and there's a lot of people.
This is the Indiana
in Indiana.
Okay.
In Indiana.
Well, what are those criminals all about?
Well, we have a weak governor in this state that is being beat down by the Senate and the House. But anyway, the protest deal that I've found the most effective protest to do is to just have a live sign. We have a rotunda. And where the speakers get up to speak, you can actually stand behind them and see the audience in front of them, and while they're on stage, hold the live sign on them. People will react. They will laugh. The kids get their iPhones out, and the person on the stage feels like an idiot. Our governor, he won't come on stage for the live sign. He won't come anywhere near the live sign. Live sign.
Lies?
Just have a sign. A sign. Maybe about 24 by 16.
Okay.
And have just the big letters lies on there. And then when they get up to speak,
Yeah.
You bring the line signs right on top of them.
Live signs.
Everybody in the audience is laughing at everything. Plus, whatever other message you want to get while they're on the stage, you can do anything.
I think it's an interesting idea. Larry, thank you for the call.
Good concept.
Yeah, it's when you're talking about politicians, their lips are moving, right? I mean,
there it is.
At some point or another, somebody's gonna like that. I think it's an interesting idea if you can get down there in front. Obviously, security is going to come get you at some point or another. But hey, what are you going to do?
Sure.
You got to take your activism where you can get it. So I want to go on with this article here from the LA Times. California, the Stanford report concludes that California has consistently become a more attractive place for millionaires, adding that perhaps, it was for the Beverly Hillbillies, right?
Yeah, sure. Beverly Hills, that's Southern California, but that works.
Swimming pools, movie stars. The report concludes that they've become a consistent, more attractive place for millionaires, adding that perhaps it is because California has become a winner-take-all economy. So, I mean, considering the amount of taxes that are taken, it's the winner sounds like Sacramento. Similar findings have been reported by other organizations. Although California has had a net out migration among most demographic groups, it has gained among those with higher incomes and higher levels of education. And when you can't lose your poor people and your middle class people. Your middle class people are what make up your economy. If you're driving them out, you're in bad shape.
Yeah, they're not losing California, Mark. They're not losing poor people. Poor people are flooding into California to take advantage of the very, very, very generous welfare benefits, education benefits, medical benefits, this benefit, that benefit, all kinds of benefits. What they're doing is destroying their middle class. So, guess what? California becomes Brazil. Now, what do I mean? Which
is like a big disparity. Tell me.
Yeah, like in most South American countries, you have a little tiny class at the top 1%, 2%, 3% that owns all of the property and has all the wealth and runs the country, and then you have a very tiny, a small percentage below that serve the upper classes, and then below that everybody's poor. They have a huge underclass. A huge percentage of the population is very poor, and there's a very small percentage of the population that's very rich. But there's nothing in between. There's no middle class. That's what California is doing. Poor people at the bottom, super rich at the top, and in between, everybody's going to Nevada, Arizona, Florida, Texas, you name it.
No way to run an economy, that's for sure.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, you mentioned how big the economy of California is. It's like the 6th or 7th biggest economy in the world, standing alone. And it'll be very interesting to see how long it takes them to actually drive it into the ground, because they're well on their way.
I think one of the things that they're really facing out in California is it's an arid climate. Pretty much everything. Not everything, but pretty much everything west of the Rockies is pretty arid, and there's not a lot of water.
Sure.
At this point, my uncle lives out in Salinas, it's near San Francisco, and he's keeping an eye on things. They say they've had salt water intrusion up to 10 miles from the coast.
Whoa.
And that means that you can dig down in a well to get some water, and you're pumping up bad water.
Wow.
That's really, really bad news for a place that has such an agricultural bend to it. California is the place where a lot of people's produce come from.
That's right.
And it doesn't seem to be like it's going to get better anytime soon.
Well, Victor Davis Hanson, who's a classics professor or was a classics professor at the University of California in Fresno, is like 3rd or 4th or 5th generation farmer in the Central Valley, and he writes eloquently about how the farming economy is just being destroyed, and farms are being destroyed, and nothing is being taken care of in terms of infrastructure.
Yeah, it seems like farms have turned towards large corporate farms, and those have more of an interest in quarterly profits and less of an interest in maintaining the land over time. If you have farmers that the son's gonna take over the land from the dad and that kind of thing, you want to protect it more so. Now it seems like it's less of that, and
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,307. Silver opened at $15.46. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,851. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a recent report from the New York Times shows that the National Security Agency has quietly shut down a controversial phone record surveillance program revealed by whistleblower Edward Snowden in 2013. The claim was made by a senior Republican congressional aide who told the newspaper that the Trump administration had stopped using the program, which analyzes the domestic call and text logs of American citizens due to technical problems. Minpress News reports that Snowden on Twitter hailed the news as a victory, while Intercept journalist Glenn Greenwald, who broke the Snowden story to international acclaim, took the story at face value. Neither of them raised the obvious question. Is the shutdown of the program merely a smokescreen to continue spying on American phones under new or different secretive programs? Further doubt has been cast on the New York Times report, as the NSA refused to confirm or deny the story. But during a recent major security conference, the agency did claim that they are still in a deliberative process about whether to use a revamped version of the vast database of American phone records. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Your news now continues. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry has announced the filing of a petition supplement naming persons who may have information related to the use of explosives at the World Trade Center. The Free Thought Project reports that Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth says the 33-page document contains 15 different categories of persons who may have information material to the investigation. including contractors and security companies that had access to the World Trade Center towers before 9/11, persons and entities who benefited financially from the demolitions, and persons arrested after being observed celebrating the World Trade Center attacks. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry successfully submitted a petition to the federal government demanding that the U.S. Attorney present to a special grand jury extensive evidence of yet-to-be-prosecuted federal crimes relating to the destruction of 3 World Trade Center towers on 9/11-2001. After waiting months for the reply, the U.S. Attorney responded in a letter, noting that they will comply with the law. Venezuelan authorities continue working to bring back online the electric grid following a massive outage that began Thursday, March 7th. According to the anti-media, on-ground testimonies and official sources say that power finally began to reach Venezuela's western states on Monday night. Electricity has now been restored, at least in some areas of every state. President Nicolas Maduro gave a televised address Tuesday evening, offering more details about the alleged attack against the country's electrical infrastructure. According to Maduro, both the computerized system in the Curry Dam on Thursday afternoon and the central electrical brain in Caracas on Saturday morning suffered cyber attacks, while recovery was delayed by physical attacks against transmission lines and electrical substations. Maduro claimed that the attacks were directed from Chicago and Houston, and that more evidence will be presented soon. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Take the Field's mission is to inform baseball players that physical activity is nothing to be scared of, that a little bit of running can be fun.
Now, Rebecca, this obesity problem is nothing new.
Well, right, there is a culture of obesity in baseball that has been around for years. I mean, coaches even sub in healthy pinch runners instead of encouraging their overweight players to hustle, depriving them of the only cardiovascular exercise they might have a chance to get.
And a lot of these athletes have been playing baseball since they were kids.
Well, right, so they might have never learned any healthy habits.
Baseball is fine in moderation, but many of these men spend over 200 days a year playing it, and that adds up.
The program encourages players once an hour to take a 15-minute break from baseball to do something active, like go up and down some stairs, go for a walk, or play some basketball.
All right, well, thanks, Rebecca. If you're a baseball coach and you're worried about your players' health, go to takethefield.gov for a list of healthy activities and nutritious snacks. Coming up next, does America brains get worse hearing words correct?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Kicking off the final hour of Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. If you're listening, well, you don't have to be listening, actually, now that I think about it. If you want to talk on Free Talk Live, we are live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, you can call in. And then if you say you're listening on your local station and it airs us overnights or in the mornings or whenever it is, you can then hear yourself talking. Or if you called in, you can go to archives.freetalklive.com and you can get the show there. Pretty much show's uploaded within an hour after we're done. So 11 p.m. Eastern Time, show's up and ready to go.
Don't you ever get a vacation, Mark?
Well, I mean, any one of us is not on 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
I was okay. You and Ian divided between the two of you.
As we do, yes.
Okay.
We started the show together, 15 plus years, 17, 18 years ago. And we have come up with systems for dealing with, including bringing in great co-hosts like you and Angie here. And thank you for spending some time with me. And that's how we do it.
Well, do you bring people in to teach them how to be talk radio hosts? Because Angie and I would like to know.
That's how you do it.
Okay, could the next time somebody calls up, can you let me say hello to them?
Certainly.
Who have we got?
Let's go to Tom, calling in from New Hampshire.
Tommy, baby, talk to me, Big Daddy. You're on Free Talk Live.
So, The House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. has passed and sent to the Senate an unconstitutional bill that would do injustice to the United States freedom of speech, the constitutional right to free speech, H.R. 1, which would restrict political spending. And you know how they call it campaign finance reform, so that, you know, if you want to give money to political parties,
sure.
Oh no, you can't do that. And the problem is that it violates the right to free speech.
Oh.
And the other solution is you want to take power away from all these people who got lots of money and they can buy members of Congress and stuff like that.
Tom,
another chess move.
Tom, let me ask.
That we could do. What?
Tom, let me ask you a question. There's a threshold question that you presented to us, and that is this: does spending money or on political campaigns equal political speech? Because if it is political speech, then it's protected by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. But if spending money on a political campaign is not political speech, then they think they can stop it. What do you think?
Well, I think that spending money, your own money, and first of all, there's a difference between giving it directly to their campaign and you go and run the ads yourself, and that's free speech, first of all. Secondly, the U.S. Constitution gives Congress the power to amend state laws about the times and manner of holding elections, but nothing about the election campaigns for Congress. And they kept the race for president totally out of the hands of Congress by saying that the states each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct. And the electors would meet in their respective states, because those lines on the map mean a lot to bureaucrats. If you take a bribe to vote for Trump, then you violated state law because you voted in the state, at the state capitol usually. But to go on with my solution here, Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution says the number of representatives shall not exceed one for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least one representative. Now, simply go to that ratio of one for every 30,000. New Hampshire would get like 40 members of Congress and not as many staffers. And, okay, so you have to remodel a building in Washington, D.C. The cost of remodeling that building is like nothing compared to the value of any significant difference in the rights of the people.
So you want more representatives in the state, U.S. House?
In the United States House of Representatives, more representatives and like one member, because they don't need as many staffers to help with constituent casework assistance and everything, with fewer constituents. And so they would only need one staffer in their office in New Hampshire and one in minding the store in Longworth House Office Building, for people who walk in off the street to raise issues about this or that, because they would each one would have only 30,000 residents in their district.
Well,
remodel the House chamber, that would be a lot of work, but that's nothing. If it improves the quality of service, because
I don't think you're going to retrofit the state, Tom. I mean, I think that this is rearranging the deck chairs in the Titanic. I mean, you're weakening the power of any one representative, that's for certain. But, I mean, you know.
I think
it brings it, that they say about New Hampshire should be the first in the nation primary because it's retail politics. Well, this would be more retail politics because they would actually have to get out there and meet the people of their district and stuff like that.
Let's not presume for a second that the people are any more qualified to know what the other people's lives should be like either.
I think what Tom is saying, though, is he's saying that the federal government and our national government in Washington, D.C. should be more like New Hampshire's government, New Hampshire state government in Concord. Is that right, Tom?
That's pretty much the size of it, and it would cost about the same if you only have one staffer in New Hampshire and one in Washington, D.C.
Here's the thing, though, Tom. You're talking about a House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. with around or in excess of 1,000 representatives.
Oh, it's got to be more than that. Yeah,
several
thousands of representatives.
But that's okay. I mean, RFK Stadium has more seats than you would need. You would have to build a bigger U.S. Capitol building. But so what? I mean, if
you could just use the Washington football team's building, it'd be fine. Thanks for the call, Tom. I appreciate it. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Angie, I got a question for you. I want to get this in before we go on to the next segment here. You're a workout lady, you've got muscles on top of muscles. You're in great shape. If somebody wanted to begin working out and start living a better lifestyle, I think we all want that, but we don't know really where to start. Do you have any advice for somebody just sort of just starting out, just thinking about it?
It really boils down to your diet, about what you put into your body.
Okay.
If you want to change, you have to eat whole foods, things that are clean, nothing processed. When you go into a grocery store, you shop on the outskirts. Don't get anything in the middle. That's your veggies, your meats, your cold stuff, and then you leave.
Yeah, watch out for foods in bags and boxes and
anything
bottles.
Produced in a factory.
Yeah, cans.
Well, hold it a second. What about Cokes and Pepsis?
Oh, absolutely not.
And potato chips and good stuff like that.
Everything's full of sugar. And you want to avoid it.
Yeah, sugar really is it's the downfall. Too many calories packed into one little place. What about a diet? I agree with you completely, right? Get your food that looks like food,
Right.
Get your vegetables.
If it was alive, if it grew, you put it in your body.
Yeah. Whereas if it comes out of some box and you can't really identify what it is.
You can't read the ingredients, don't eat it.
Right. Or at the very least, cut way, way, way back on
Absolutely.
it. I mean, you got to have your treats in life, but...
treats, but it's still okay to eat Whoppers and Kentucky Fried Chicken and Big Macs, isn't it?
Well, I mean, if you would like to, but I'm not going to eat it.
No. Well, we're taking your advice here.
No, I would not consume that stuff.
Oh, shucks.
What about a workout for people who are just getting started?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what level you're at. If you are sedentary and you sit around on the couch, just get up, go for a walk, go outside. If you want to do body weight things, you could work out. You could do push-ups, pull-ups, chin-ups, something simple.
I can't do a push-up. I can't do a pull-up. I can't do a chin-up. And I weigh 400 pounds.
You can modify everything.
You do
not. You can lean against the wall and do push-ups off the wall. If you want to do an assisted chin-up, you put a chair there, put your foot on it, grab the bar, and pull yourself up.
This is very interesting.
Even if you're just getting up and dancing.
Angie knows
Yeah, it's just about moving.
Yeah, just kind of movement, I think, is probably a great thing to start doing.
So what you're saying is you should be dancing. Ooh,
dancing's great cardio.
Should be dancing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
855-450-3733 if you have fitness questions for Angie. 855-450-FREE.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. This live edition. It's Mark with you.
Angie's here.
And Tim.
That's right. Tim, get it right up on that mic.
Oops.
Kind of folks can hear you. I want to tell you about ForkFest. So ForkFest 2018 was a great event, had a wonderful time, and we'd love for you to start planning now to attend PorkFest 2019. It's a bunch of liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians who are going up to do some camping before the big camping festival of PorkFest. Tim, you created the very first PorkFest.
I did.
And ForkFest is basically an opportunity to go up there and something that's a little less regimented. Back what it was like when you set it up.
Well, the first one was held in December 2005. We had the vote in 2004. And
for the Free State Project, yep.
Yeah, for the Free State Project, to pick the state. There were a dozen states on the ballot.
There were 10. I thought that 2 had been eliminated because of size. Rhode Island was corruption, and Hawaii was eliminated because it was just too Democrat.
Yeah, but I thought there were still 12. Shall we go through them? We could go through them.
Oh, you know them?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Alaska.
Yeah.
Idaho.
Montana.
Yeah. North Dakota, South Dakota.
Yep, now we're at 5.
Wyoming.
Okay, Wyoming 6.
And that's all on the West Coast.
Okay.
And then out on the East Coast, you have
Delaware.
Delaware, starting with the outlier, and then go up to the top, and you've got Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. And you know what? You're right, Mark.
Yeah.
That's 10.
So what Jason Sorens, the founder of the Free State Project, did was pick the 12 least populated states, because those are the ones that you might be able to have an effect in.
Sure.
By moving 20,000 liberty-loving individuals to one place.
Yep.
And then he eliminated 2 of them because he felt that they were just poor choices.
That was Rhode Island and Hawaii. Yeah.
And Hawaii would be pretty attractive, but it's just not going to work.
Well, at that time, Jason was working on his PhD. He was at Yale working on his PhD, and he said, look, you know, the Libertarian Party hasn't done anything. We haven't even won a statewide election, much less a national election. So if we're going to make any changes politically anywhere, we need to concentrate our numbers in one low-population state. And that was a genius. He was a guy at the right time with the right idea. So anyway, we had the vote, and we had a big press conference in New York on October 1st.
New York City.
2004 in New York City. And several of us gave speeches. I was on the National Board of Directors at the time. And then we were exhausted. It was an exhausting process doing the vote, taking the votes and making sure it was a clean vote, et cetera. And so I said, after it was all over, I said, well, let's have a celebration. Let's have a celebration in New Hampshire. And everybody was exhausted. Said, we can't do that, man. It's just too much. And I said, all right, I'll have a party myself. And we did it at Rogers Campground because we had a previous Meet New Hampshire
and that's where Forkfest is, as is Porkfest still.
Yes, as it is now. It was a couple of years. There was a couple of years they held it elsewhere.
Yep.
But it was named the first annual Porcupine Freedom Festival and Night on the Barricades. And it was supposed to be.
What are the barricades?
Night on the Barricades is a literary reference from John Steinbeck's book Cannery Row.
Cannery Row must be, right?
Yeah, Cannery Row, and they were talking about a party that was like a riot and a night on the barricades. It was such a great party, and that's what the Porkfest is meant to be.
I see. And it's a great event, but you can come ahead of time for Forkfest, which is the few days beforehand, and you'll have experiences you'd like to, the kind of experiences you want to have. So you can create your own thing for Forkfest. It's decentralized. No one's in charge, so it's up to you to create what you want. You can simply relax and go camping with other liberty lovers. There'll be man camp there by J Noon. There'll be people serving food. You can get more information and connect with other Forkfesters via the unofficial Telegram chat, because everything's unofficial, Forkfest forum, or visit forkfest.party. That's forkfest.party. You just type that in on the URL thing and you'll get there, forkfest.party. Let's go to David calling in from New Hampshire. Oh, sorry, David calling in from New Mexico. Excuse me. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
How'd you know I moved?
Well, you probably have moved, just not as far as I'd said.
That's about 1,500 miles short of that, I think.
Yeah. So what's on your mind?
The continuing on where we left off the other night, and you can interject for your audience whatever you want to for good listening purposes, regarding when small cultures take over the larger population through strategic operations, basically, or in a nutshell, in my language.
Okay.
And there's a number of different things that I could talk about regarding this, because you'd posed a couple of questions. But one interesting thing that happened in the last couple of days since we had that conversation is this university scandal thing.
Can you tell me about the scandal?
Well, the William Rick Singer, you know who he is, right?
No.
Okay, well, he's the center. He's this university scandal. Most people think of it in terms of Ivy League school admissions for children of the rich and famous.
Right. It's bad to pay extra money to get your kid into the school you want them to get into.
Right, especially when it violates a number of federal laws like these ones right here in this United States versus William Rick Singer defendant, 19 CR 10,078.
Okay.
Racketeering conspiracy, count 2, money laundering conspiracy, count 3, conspiracy to defraud, count 4, obstruction of justice. Under RICO forfeiture allegations, money laundering forfeiture allegations.
Hold on. So RICO has to do with getting your kid into college? The RICO Act?
Yeah, it does, because of the way this all went down. This racketeering influenced corrupt organizations. it falls under RICO both criminally and civilly because of the way it went down. And like I said, you don't hear so much the focus on William Rick Singer. What you hear is the movie stars' names because that's what Americans
people recognize it, sure.
Right, but this guy is the center of it all. Without this one man, notwithstanding whoever he outs, now that he's busted, he's probably going to out some people because he's not the only one involved because, like, for instance, the various athletic coaches and such, they were all taking money. This guy was acting as...
Yeah, as I understand, in some cases, they would get athletics, the students would get athletic scholarships that were completely unqualified for athletic scholarships because money was on the table to give them scholarships.
Right. But the point is that this guy, you don't hear about this guy so much. He's mentioned in passing, but he's actually the center guy, the guy that made the whole thing happen. And I just listed off all the crimes that he did. And this guy is Singer, and it was a kind of interesting, based on the conversation that you and I had, although this is a kind of a daily occurrence on my radar. But in this case, William Rick Singer is the defendant. And the judge that he's sitting in front of is Zobel, and the prosecutor is Rosen, and one of his corrupt business dealings was Kaplan. And
David, can you give the guy's name, the Singer guy's name again?
William Rick Singer, and the
folks can look that up.
I'm looking at is Globe. I'm looking at a Globe Intel article.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
Many people believe they don't control their own destiny. Let them continue just getting by while you make the choice to do something about your future. Imagine working from home, earning the income you deserve. Just visit startlivingyoung.com and click on the Be Your Own Boss tab. Discover Juness, a state-of-the-art global health company with over $1 billion a year in sales. They'll provide all the tools you need to succeed. Visit startlivingyoung.com today and click on the Be Your Own Boss tab. Your destiny awaits at startlivingyoung.com.
Free Talk Live.
No, I just want to reiterate on what you said, and I feel you what you said about the junkie. I mean, I'm with you 100% because I had an ex-girlfriend that was like out there, and it took me a while to even find out that she was a cocaine addict. And I'm talking about I come home to all the electronics gone, and nobody broke in the house. A key was used. What happened was I was trying to be a gentleman, a good boyfriend. I got out of work. She said my car needed cleaning, it was dirty, and I ended up going in her trunk, cleaning out her trunk because that's where I kept the tie shine at. It's the exact same receipt from the pawn shop that the stuff that was missing, item for item.
Busted.
Wow. They had been to the pawn shop.
What happened when you confronted her?
She packed her stuff and said she's leaving because I don't trust her. So she gonna say she needs to leave.
Right, it's your fault.
Yeah, it's my
You're the
fault.
bad guy.
I thought I found the receipts in the trunk. Right.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You're welcome to call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Angie Gordon.
And Timothy Condon.
Mark Edge. You know, I had to make up a last name because way back when I was doing radio on a country station in Bradenton, Florida, we did an event, and it was the Myakka City's Volunteer Fire Department's Fire Muster and Antique Auto Show. And Myakka City is highly misnamed. This town has one blinking light.
I know Myakka City. West coast of Florida, sure.
Yeah. And, I went out there with the country station. 106.5 CTQ was a pretty big station back in the day in Myakka City. Pretty much everybody listened to that station. And some gals came up on these four-wheeler ATVs, and I was handing out my business cards and, talking to people and having a grand old time at the event. And one of them got my business card, and, first thing she did was look me up at the phone book. Remember when we had phone books?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you remember, Angie?
I do remember phone books.
Young thing that you are, I'm surprised. She looked my name up in the phone book and called me up at the house and, sort of asked me out, on a date or whatever. And I probably should have been more clear and very upfront that I had a girlfriend at the time, but I didn't. I just sort of hemmed and hawed and said no, right? And so she called again another time. I asked me on a date that instead of Myakka City, like somewhere in sort of in between where we lived. And then the third contact from her was at my house.
Did you shoot her down the first two times?
I didn't. I could have been much more clear about my position.
You were young, though.
Right. I'm taking responsibility here because I deserve it. What if she's listening, right? I don't want her to get painted as some kind of stalker, but I think she was being bold. It's like she was taking the initiative and whatever, and that's fine. You got to do that in life.
Well, what happened at your house?
She showed up, and my girlfriend was sleeping, taking a nap. And my mother at the time was on a trip. I mean, I was, young guy and stayed at mom's house. And so this gal shows up, and I'm like, then I got very, very clear, right? I see the opportunity to get caught. I'm like, you got to go. Yeah. You got to go.
Yeah.
So my fault. But
did you ever go out with her at all? I mean, what became of her?
No, I had a girlfriend. I sent her on her way, but I decided to change my name as a result. Instead of using my real last name, which is Edgington, I used a fake name, Mark Edge, and just sort of kept it. And my whole goal with Mark Edge is I'll never have to spell this.
Well, it's easier to say. Also, it's shorter and it's quick to say. Like I could change my name. I'd be Tim Kahn.
Right, Tim Kahn.
No.
So one of the problems with it though is people think you say like hedge or I don't know. They don't quite get it. Mark
edge, wedge,
kedge. I don't know. Wedge. Right. So it's confusing. Yeah. Anyway, I end up having to spell it anyway. At least it's shorter. Let's go to the phones. Got JR calling in from Arizona. JR, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind? JR, can you hear me now? How about now? Well, hold the line then. Let's see if I have the board op check on JR and see what's going on there. One never knows.
One never knows.
Tim, you had a story that you wanted to talk about, which was the story. It's probably about 6 months old now, maybe. This church in Virginia, which was George Washington's church.
That's right.
And we talked about this on the air the last time you were here.
That's right.
And I guess it's been eating away at you for some time now.
It has.
This was George Washington's church, and they had a little plaque, that basically this is George Washington's church or whatever, and it's a historical church and that kind of thing. And they decided to take the historical plaque down because it George Washington owned slaves. And I think that there's no dispute about any of these facts.
Right.
The confusion sort of lies in, well, what do you think? I mean, what's the deal with this? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? And I suspect lots of people of all different colors have different opinions on this because it's confusing.
Well, it's the same thing as taking down the statues, the Civil War statues and the war memorials and things like that. At the time that we talked about that, and I thought that was longer than 6 months ago, but whenever it happened,
I don't know when it was.
It was a church in the Washington, D.C. area, and it had a plaque on it that said George Washington attended this church. And they took it down.
The plaque,
because they thought some people might be offended by reference to the father of our country. And at the time we were talking about it, it was kind of like I was thinking, well, it's part of our history and we shouldn't be anti-history and everything. But it's been eating away at me ever since then, and I have come to a conclusion. I now know what the answer is to that kind of a problem, and it applies across the board to all our historical monuments and plaques and things like that. And that is that our goodwill is being weaponized against us. Look, when somebody says, "Oh, I'm offended," I'm triggered. Oh, I feel like I'm excluded. Oh, I feel like there's something wrong. Oh, I feel so bad. What they're doing is they're using our good manners and our good feelings toward our fellow man and woman as a weapon against us. You have to take that down. You have to change your language. You have to change your clothing. By the way, the comet guy, the astrophysicist that landed the spacecraft on the comet, he wore that shirt.
Oh yeah, there was. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he basically had some shirt with ladies on it.
I think his name was Matt Taylor.
Okay,
his nickname now is Comet Guy.
Okay,
and he was crucified because people were triggered and people were, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. There's naked women. The shirt was given to him by his girlfriend.
Right, and they weren't naked. They were scantily
they
clad.
were scantily clad. Yeah, so people are. We're in a place where normal people like you and Angie and me, when somebody says, "Oh, I feel really badly about something, I don't like that, our first reaction is to say, "Oh, well, we'll change it for you because we don't want you to feel bad." The answer is, if you don't like the plaque of George Washington on that church, that's too bad. Go to another church. If you don't like the statue of Christopher Columbus that's standing up there, the European discoverer of the New World, that's too bad. You're demanding it being taken down because it offends you. I'm demanding that it stays up because your attitude offends me. What about that?
Yeah, I'm not the fondest of Christopher Columbus, but I think that certainly you can't say that the age of discovery was created by Christopher Columbus. Started.
How about Robert E. Lee or Nathan Bedford Forrest or Stone Mountain? They want to sandblast Stone Mountain outside Atlanta now in Georgia.
What is on Stone Mountain?
Stone Mountain has a big bas-relief, humongous bas-relief on the side of the mountain, which includes
Confederate.
It includes Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, and several Confederate heroes from the Civil War.
And I think that those things are worth learning about.
Well, people and particularly black politicians in Georgia right now are saying we're going to sandblast that thing. We don't want it because it triggers us. It offends us.
I'd be curious as to what they say their reasons are. Obviously, this word trigger is quite the buzzword these days. I mean, the idea that a college professor, a liberal college professor, needs to give a trigger warning before they say anything or have anybody read any piece of literature. I mean, literature has conflict, and many times in human history, conflict has been, I don't know, bad stuff.
How weird is that, Mark? How weird is that? Here's somebody that probably knows the answer. How weird is that, Angie?
I don't even know what a trigger warning is.
A trigger warning is when they, like, now you have to tell people before you tell them what, say happened in a story or something like that. You have to warn them, hey, if you've had, say, a sexual assault history or violence history, this story was about sexual assault or like Romeo and Juliet. Well,
so
this
you're
is a story
using kid
between
gloves. You just have to put your kid gloves on.
Right. It's all PC all the time.
All
it seems.
PC all the time, and that was what was bothering me. These people who want to wipe out our history are wiping it out in the name of political correctness, and my attitude is too damn bad.
The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Final segment of Free Talk Live. We could still potentially sneak you in if you called 855-450-3733 or used our Discord lines at discord.freetalklive.com. That's how you get the app and use the Discord app on your phone, and you're going to sound a lot better. But if you go to amp.freetalklive, you can do as Trusted Mike Spike, who's a silver amplifier, has done. You can support Free Talk Live. We use all the money to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. We don't use any of them for, paychecks or hookers and blow or whatever you might think that we might use it for. In fact, it's all going to promote Free Talk Live. If you like the ideas of liberty being promoted on the radio 7 nights a week, 365 days a year, then perhaps you should consider amp.freetalklive.com. We appreciate it. We use the honor system here on Free Talk Live. If you listen to the show for, if you've been listening to the show for 6 months and you like it, it's a good idea. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. It's amp.freetalklive.com. Tim, I was looking here at you were talking about this relief on Stone Mountain in Georgia.
That's right.
And it looks very Confederate. I see some Confederate generals here. Robert E. Lee, you said Stonewall Jackson is in there.
Yep.
Variety of them. Perhaps one of the greatest... I was thinking Jeb Stuart. Jeb Stuart, one of the greatest cavalry officers in U.S. history.
Absolutely.
This war between the states, very triggering thing for people in many cases. People are like, this side or that side. I see war memorials all the time of the Union side, and no one seems to have a problem with that. I'm from the South, and Union war memorials bug the heck out of me. Like rubbing it in our faces that we lost. And, but many people bring up the history of slavery, which certainly cannot be removed from Civil War, but at the same time, in many cases, people fought, like there were slave owners on both sides of this war.
Not only that, but a relatively small percentage of Southerners owned slaves, and there were black slave owners in the South, and the people that fought for the South were overwhelmingly people who never owned slaves and didn't ever intend to own slaves.
And
but
in many cases, people up north weren't that nice to black folks either when they when and if they moved up there.
Absolutely.
So it's not like it's not like one side's good, one side's bad, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
But that's what black America feels. Blacks want all Civil War memorials wiped out because...
Some do. I don't think that most of the callers we've had don't seem to care at all.
Well, when you hear the people that are agitating to get rid of these monuments, they're saying, look, these are people that fought to continue slavery, and we don't like that, and you can't really blame them.
Well, Lincoln allowed slavery to continue. The Emancipation Proclamation wasn't signed. First off, it didn't apply to any states in the United States. It only
Correct.
applied to the Confederate states.
Correct.
So if he really wanted to make a bold statement, he could have perhaps freed the slaves in Maryland and Kentucky and I think it might have been Missouri. I'm not 100% sure.
No, Missouri wasn't in there, but definitely Maryland was a slave state, and it did not secede. And Kentucky was a slave state; it did not secede.
Right, and so he could have freed slaves there if he really wanted to free some slaves. That's absolutely could have been done, and I think that it's history books seem to sort of gloss over, exactly the difficulties that were surrounding. Nobody here supports slavery, right? Slavery is a bad idea,
right? Although it's pervasive throughout human history. There are references to slavery in the Bible and the duties of slave owners and the duties of slaves to their masters.
Right.
During the golden age of Pericles in Greece, there were slaves. There were slaves in the Roman Empire. There were slaves in
Socrates couldn't
Africa.
figure out how, or was it Plato? Plato couldn't figure out how society would be organized without slaves. He just couldn't figure it out.
There were slaves among the Indians in America, so-called Native Americans. It's pervasive. It's everywhere. But what we're taught today is that it never existed anywhere other than in the South before the Civil War.
Well, they need to check out Brazil's history then.
We're all against slavery, especially as libertarians, people in favor of liberty and freedom. Human beings cannot own or enslave other human beings, period.
So
even though the Democrats want to continue doing it.
What about all these monuments that are put up on public land, which means that everybody's got to pay for, to some extent, the maintenance of these things, that sort of thing?
Like the big cross. The one
in Virginia?
The one they're fighting over right now.
Oh, I'm not familiar with this one.
Is it one in Virginia?
Yeah, I think so. That's a big cross that was put up in honor of World War I. Dead, right?
I believe that's correct.
Is that it? Yeah. Have you been following it?
No, but I have seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it real big?
It's huge.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And they're suing now. A group of atheist organizations with their lawyers are suing to get rid of it. Can't be there because it violates the prohibition of a state religion. And it's in the courts right now.
Yeah, it's, there's another question that you have out there when you talk about, this is the complication of public land, right? And that's now everybody gets an opinion. If that was sitting on your property, nobody really gets an opinion. All they can do is that guy's got a giant cross in his yard.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's on public land, then everybody gets to kick in their opinion. And, I can see why they choose to give their opinion. It's probably not the greatest human rights issue of our time.
Well, should the cross stay or not? Is it in violation of the Constitution or not?
What about Las Cruces, Mexico? What about Los Angeles, which is the Angels?
That's true.
What? I mean, are we going to disallow these?
San Francisco, St. Francis.
Right. I mean, every municipality in California is half of them are named after saints.
But those are just names. We're talking about actual physical objects here.
I understand it's easier to go after a physical object, but if you're an atheist and you have to say the term San Francisco, you reference a saint every day, several times a day, you might call that imminent anguish. I don't know. At some point or another, this is the next argument that comes down the pike.
Absolutely, and they're never, ever satisfied. They always have something else to complain about. They're always triggered, Angie. They're always triggered by anything that they say that they disapprove of. And if you allow people like that to have power in your society, in your culture, everything's going to fly apart because they're always going to be complaining. They're always going to say, we can't have this, we can't have that, we can't have this, we can't have that. But the atheists, by the way, have put up a big statue in one state in the Midwest somewhere in front of the State House.
Right. So that's an interesting situation. In this case, I think it was a Baphomet statue of this evil goat god looking thing.
Yeah.
And they put this statue up because the state court or whatever said that they didn't have to take down a Ten Commandments statue.
Right.
And, well, if you leave up the one religious object, do you leave up the other one? I believe that they put up a statue in another place. Somebody hit it with a car in intending to take down the atheist statue.
Oh,
so
really?
They had another one made, and they've been going around trying to figure out ways to put these weird-looking statues up at State House lawns, and I think about all the time and the energy that's fought over this.
What's the answer, Mark? What's the answer, Angie? What do you do?
Well, what I would say is that this isn't worth my time or energy.
No. I would. Well, that would be one way to address it. But my attitude would be, hey, you're triggered by it, too damn bad. And look, let's admit it. Among us three right here, we know that atheists are kind of weird and kind of low life, aren't they?
What?
What? No. Angie, you agree with me? Back me up
I don't
on this.
agree at all.
No, the atheists are scum de la scum. Mark, back me up.
No.
Back me up.
No,
More facts about this.
No, what I say is that as far as it goes, you should be able to have the religion you want to have, and that you shouldn't be robbed in order to, by taxed in order to support somebody else's religion and those kind of things. I kind of feel like if a statue's in place, then no real harm done, right? What's it cost in aggregate sum to care for the 10 Commandments statue in, I don't know,
Oklahoma,
Enid, Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but are you saying once the Satan statue is up, the bad goat guy with the horns and everything is up, then it's up there in perpetuity?
I think that to me at that point, I wouldn't demand that it being taken down. But once you see, I think this is a really brilliant idea that these atheists had, was to put up this Baphomet statue, because then what it forces the judge to do is say, okay, well, everybody gets to have theirs.
Well, would you object then if I took my mighty minivan and rode over it and then smashed into it and knocked it down?
What I would say is that it's probably best if everybody keeps their religious statues on private property, is what my idea. And honestly, when I think it comes to Confederate statues and these kind of things, even all war statues, put them in one park so people can go look at them all in one place.
On public property?
Free Talk Live.
Thanks. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,307. Silver opened at $15.46. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,800.